Hello, Rhino Radio. This is Brandon from Monster Truck, and you're listening to Rhino Radio.
So I have the honor of sitting with 1/4 of a monster truck. Hello, Brendan. How are you?
Very well, thanks. It's great to be back here. We really enjoy being here, and the tour's shaping up to be really good.
Oh, glad to hear. Just the first few days, right? And then you're going to hit Europe as well?
Yes, this is the second show of the tour, so we only have one so far, but it was good. And I think the rest are going to be good. The tickets are already pretty much sold out for the next 4 in a row, so that's something you always like.
Very nice.
Happening, yeah.
And I don't know if our listeners know, but you guys are Canadian.
Yes.
And I don't even know if the ones that do know that are aware of the fact that it's not part of the US.
No, definitely not.
But you guys are making it really difficult for us by almost being rednecks in your style and kind of the atmosphere around the band. Is it something that you embrace, you go against, you laugh it out, or?
I would say I think we're just fans of Southern rock, and that's where that comes from. Of course, there is an equal percentage of rednecks in Canada as there are in America, and because our countries are, right beside each other, there's a lot of cultural similarities. So, yes, I see how we could come off as being rednecks like that.
So do you embrace it, or do you go against it? Correct everyone.
I mean, if it's like kind of a Southern rock style, or like maybe like a bit of a biker style, that's kind of cool, but we often don't like being compared to America. We don't particularly like the culture of America. Yeah, they're kind of a bully as far as nations go, so I would say we embrace Southern rock and some of those stylings, but culturally otherwise we like to differentiate ourselves from America.
Okay, so you're forcing me to shuffle my questions.
Okay.
But the song Evolution puts you on somewhere between political lyrics and activism. Guessing the environment in the US right now poke that as well, but is it something that you guys as a band, I know that you're not the main lyricist, but is it something that you guys are appealing to? You're going to go into the more activism?
I don't particularly like this stance. I think John, who writes the lyrics, changes his opinion often, so I don't really know. We really don't like to have too many political affiliations. I don't think that's why people like our band. However, he's the lyricist, and none of us have any real input in towards that. So whatever he writes, I mean, I think we could veto it. We could mount a 3 against 1 thing, but I don't know. I don't know what he would say about that song right now. There are times when he regrets that song, but there's other times when he likes that song. I don't know. That's a hard question for me. I would insinuate it's a hard question for him as well. So yeah.
And if I'm mistaken, that song Evolution, and also was it Young City Heart, got the band in some trouble with your fans?
Yes.
Okay. Is it so? A lot of bands try and get out of their comfort zone, try something else. Obviously, it gets them into trouble with some of their fans. Sometimes it gets them some other fans. Is it something that you appreciate as a fan?
Yes. In my personal opinion, I quite like when artists are growing, and I mean, but my favorite artists from history are probably not ones that many of our fans would like. I mean, Bob Dylan's one of my favorite. And he had a wonderful quote that's one of my favorite quotes of all time, and he said, an artist always has to be in a state of becoming, which I think means you should always be evolving and changing and becoming something new. Now, depending on how that reflects on your sound and your music, I don't really know. And of course, some artists can't really sound too much differently. I mean, sure, those songs do sound a different on the album from the other ones, but when we play them live, I think that's when crowds will realize that it's still the same band, and tonally it's really similar. Yeah, they were recorded with a different producer and mixed separately, and you know, they have a different aesthetic than the rest of the album does, but yeah. Hey Marv, we're doing an interview. I'm doing an interview down here. It's okay.
Just warming up?
Yeah, so, I don't know.
By the way, Bob Dylan's getting into trouble with his fans as well, especially after shows.
I think everybody's getting into trouble nowadays. The world is in a tumultuous time where people have problems with everything. And I don't know, I'm curious to see what will happen of how we'll get beyond this or get deeper into it. We'll see.
Okay. Again, taking something very literally, but obviously you reply with your own interpretation. But you have another song called Being Cool Is Over.
Mm-hmm.
Is weird, being called weird, is it a compliment these days?
Personally, yes. I'm proud of being different and weird. Those are people who are like this are my favorite people. Weird situations are the most exciting ones. I don't like normal very much. So yes, I think weird is great.
Okay, that's great to hear. And the recent tours kind of threw you back and forth between arenas and clubs. Is it difficult to go back and forth? What's easier?
It used to be back on our Sit and Heavy cycle. We did so much arena supporting. I think we had done, I think it was like, we did 2 months with Nickelback, a month with Billy Talent, and then another Canadian run with Billy Talent in arenas. And I remember coming out of those 3 tours, probably a total of almost 4 months of arena touring. And we started a headline show at the Limelight in Belfast. And it was like a 250 person club, and the crowd was this close to us, and I felt so weird. It was, and it took a few shows to get into that club mentality again. But of course, that is where we came from. So I think we are still the best band in that situation. But of course, all that arena touring taught us how to play in arenas. So I think now we can go back and forth pretty easily. We have done lots of both of those types of touring since that time. So yeah, I don't know, I guess we've matured enough that we can flip back and forth pretty simply. Yeah.
And one last question about touring. You guys are obviously outside of Canada. We're here in the UK right now. Mm-hmm. You brought Royal Tusk with you, Canadians as well.
Yes.
So that change, but also taking home with you. Does it put the stereotype of Canadian to the extreme? Do you realize how stereotypical one of you is and who that person is on the band? Because I know you guys are addicted to hockey.
Yes. Particularly the other ones are more addicted to hockey than I.
Okay.
See, I played a lot of hockey growing up, and my father is very into sports. So I do believe music was my rebellion against him, because he had no idea about it, and he really couldn't tell me what to do. So that has kind of prevented me. I don't really follow too much sports because it takes too much time to do that. Your team is playing 3 times a week, and all the other games that are happening, it's a lot of time consumed to follow hockey, let's say. But I mean, that is a very Canadian thing. Otherwise, I don't think we're too Canadian. Of course, our accents. And we around each other and other Canadians do like to ham up the accent. Because it's funny.
Did you know that Birmingham has the first Tim Horton in the UK?
Really?
Yeah, just around the corner.
It's growing here. I saw one back when we were here in December. Cardiff. I was wandering around Cardiff, and there was a Tim Hortons just right in front of me, and And I was kind of shocked, and I went back and told everybody, and then some of our English crew guys were, oh yeah, this is normal now. We have them everywhere. And then sure enough, I saw them in Glasgow, and of course they're here. So here's where we're not too stereotypically Canadian. We don't really like Tim Hortons that much. It's kind of one of those things where you get worn out on it after a while.
How long can you go without a beaver's tail?
I could go forever. I don't know how many of those I've had in my life. It's just dough. I think it's just fried dough.
You can minimize everything, you just the basics of it, but it is different.
I don't know. That is not... I don't think too many Canadians... You don't find those too much.
It's more touristic.
I think that's a novelty for tourists. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and I want to ask you about the future of the band. So obviously True Rockers was released at the end of last year. Is the future bringing you on stage with a guitar?
I kind of doubt that. As fun as it would be, I just don't really see... I don't really know if my keyboard sounds that I play can be transported to a guitar very well. I need to use my feet a lot as well, so I highly doubt it.
A challenge presented. Check it out on the next tour.
Maybe, maybe I'll have a solo project where it'll be all guitar.
Sounds interesting.
To satisfy the need for a guitar.
Okay. And before we say goodbye, is there anything else you want to add to fans and listeners out there?
Let me think. I mean, if they've never seen the show and they're curious to come see the show, please do, because I do feel that the band is a lot better live than any videos or albums that you might have heard. And fans who do know us, it's more of the same. The band, the more we keep playing, the better we keep getting. And for us, for myself, it gets better and better. And I really try. I think everybody is getting better as a player, and we're pretty dedicated to getting better as songwriters, as players, and just as a band. So I think that's if you've ever liked us or been interested, come out and see what it's like, and then come the following time and see if we got better or not. Maybe we're crazy and we got worse. I don't know, but come find out for yourself.
Okay, so Denim Danger, Brendan of Monster Truck, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.